Welcome back to the spring training series with the nozzle heads. Today's topic is going to be about Liberty herbicide in corn. And this is a topic or an opportunity that sometimes gets overlooked, where we have a lot of hybrids that are out there that are glufosinate tolerant, and we have the opportunity to apply Liberty and use it for effective weed control in corn. We normally think of Liberty as a soybean herbicide with all the trait options available there, but in corn, there's a large percentage of acres that we have this opportunity. So we're going to focus in on this, on application of Liberty, and also on some tank mixes. And I think the first thing that has to be said is Liberty alone in corn, what do we do with that or optimize that? Is it very similar to soybeans?
Well, I think so, and I think, like you're talking about there, we got to just simply look at our seed tags and see, because a lot of guys aren't going to know they have Liberty Link corn. It may come as part of the package, but some may be aware of it, and it's advertised that way. But it's another option to bring a different mode of action into corn, and so when we talk about that, I mean, we have several options that are available out there for doing it. Liberty alone by itself gives us great broadleaf burn down, smaller grasses, those type of things we can have some activity on as well. But really a broad spectrum, and it's the same things that we use in soybeans. We want to use that whole stop guidelines where we don't let our weeds get too big, we pair it with residuals, we make sure we're optimizing the application, we're doing the right things out there when we're using it. And if we do that, I think we see some good results with Liberty.
Yeah, definitely. And the tank mix options, they are almost endless on the corn acre when we talk about Liberty, but we'll kind of start high level here with Liberty. Timing of application in corn, anytime from emergence up or through the V6 growth stage. So we have a little bit of an early application timing, early window into that mid vegetative stage. Use rate 22 to 32 fluid ounces, so it actually gets to a lower use rate than in soybeans. Ammonium sulfate, still, as you say, optimizing that Liberty activity. We want to be at 3 pounds an acre for that AMS rate. Surfactants and oils, usually we have a little bit higher of a risk for crop response if we're adding too many surfactants or too many oils into the tank with Liberty, so just be mindful of what's going in. And then spray volume, keeping that at 20 GPA. But here's the big hitter, and this would be really our tank mix partner possibilities list. A lot of pretty basic ones on here. Glyphosate, if you have that trait in the hybrid corn you've planted. Atrazine premixes, those are options. And HPPD herbicides, those are very good options for tank mixing Liberty with. Those applications really align as two contact herbicides in the same application, and they provide excellent control. But these other two, we have great products in Armazon Pro and Status that are also available for tank
Right,
mix.
and so we're talking about the HPPDs. Let's look a little bit at Armazon Pro as a possibility here. And so, we really do a nice job pairing these two up here, and we get the benefits of having that HPPD product plus a residual with the outlook that's in Armazon Pro. And now all of a sudden we combine the Liberty with it. Now we can help the burn down piece of that too, and really do a good job of those emerged weeds that are out there. We do that knockdown plus residuals we talk about. We got a wide application range with this too. That's the nice thing, the way it's set up. We can look at the pre to the V6. And of course, as we've mentioned, this is for Liberty Link corn. So if we know what our corn hybrids are, then we're going to know whether we're safe to use this or not. The Armazon Pro rates can be somewhere in that 16 to 20, and like Eric mentioned, 22 to 32 ounces depending on what we're doing, and that's density of weeds, height of weeds, those type of things like that. But we don't really want to be doing big, huge, broad rescue things that we're trying to go after foot-tall weeds with any of our herbicides for that matter, and we want to make sure we're focusing on small and actively growing weeds.
Yeah, and we're definitely at the front end of the post-application timing with something like this, including Armazon Pro and Liberty. Obviously through V6 is the timing, but this fits great in situations where you got to know what you're going after, and if you're dealing with a little bit more of a woolly mess, it's an excellent tank mix for multiple purposes. The next one is really going to be the heavy hitter on emerged weeds, and quite frankly it might be the heaviest hitter when it comes to pairing two post chemistries up in corn for application, and that would be Status plus Liberty.
Right, Status plus Liberty, again, as Eric mentioned, we're early in with the Armazon Pro. We're probably looking a little bit later, because we're not going to start our Status applications until we've got corn 4 inches tall or V2, but we can go up to the V6 range with this as well. it's really a pretty simple mix here. A lot of times it's just Liberty gets added to the status mixture. You don't need to bring additional adjuvants or surfactants with it, type of thing like that. It's kind of whatever you're using with that. If you're not using a surfactant with it, then that's the situation. You just, again, add the Liberty. Glyphosate's going to be added to this too. That's a possibility with it. And then we really don't have any rotational crop concerns with this too. Now, again, optimizing that application, we talk about this. Well, hey, let's make sure we're using that 15 GPA as a minimum. A lot of times with this, because we've got Liberty in there, we want to recommend that 20 gallons per acre to be out there with that application for that, because we're combining that contact product, as we've talked about in our previous episodes, now with a systemic product. But together, these do have, they're pretty heavy hitters out there.
Yeah, certainly. Again, knowing what you're going after, keep in mind Liberty's an option on a lot of corn acres out there, and a tank mix of Liberty Armazon Pro makes for a great fit early, and even a tank mix of Liberty Status if needed. Thanks for watching this episode of the Spring Training Series.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. The thoughts and comments expressed on these videos are the opinions of the nozzle heads. Be sure to like and subscribe down below to be notified of new content and videos.